Hello, and welcome to another episode of Third Chances. This year's format will be a little different. I will not do exclusively interviews. Sometimes I will share my own wisdoms and teachings and stuff that I believe can help people, like it did help myself. And today is one of those days, even though I would like to share a single wisdom from one of the most amazing people that I was blessed to meet, Alan Noble, who is multi-millionaire, yet crazy humble, amazing mentor, and someone who would humbly support you on your journey, no matter what your destination is. And it's been very refreshing because if you are one of those people that believe that, money is source of all evil and bad people have money in their hands, yes, I guess that's true. And some of them are. But I have been lucky to find quite a few really successful people that has been the opposite. And I think it's the question of personal character, because if you are a bad person and not being rich, and if you become rich, that flaw will multiply. And the same works for same people, for a good people. If you are a good person, if you have some values, if you have some moral values, dignity, money won't likely change you. And that's just my philosophy, and I have seen examples of both in my life. And I just hope you will only have positive experiences. But back to what I was gonna do today. I kind of put together a list of things that changed my life, and they are not so earth-shattering. Maybe some of them you are going by yourself, but I just wanted to put it together and kind of make an inventory of what shaped my life and what helped me and in the tough moments to turn things around. And so, okay, number one, and I'm gonna put list in front of me so I remember what I wrote. Number one is stop doing things to impress others. And I mean anybody, your parents, your employers, friends, online strangers, because it's so paralyzing. If we care about what other people think, it stops us from being who we are. We are trying to either fit into some imaginary thing that we believe that other people expect of us, or we become twisted in a pretzel trying to model after somebody we may like, and it's not who we are. Be who you are. Of course, if be on your best behavior if you are in business and you wanna relate the energy and relate your positive influence that you can help someone with. Even though we talk about being vulnerable, I wouldn't think that throwing all your dirty laundry online every day would be benefiting anybody. If you can use it as a lesson, and if you can use it as a inspiration to somebody else who may be in bad situation and show them that it's possible to overcome it, that's a different story. But I would be very careful there. So what do I mean with the stop doing things to impress others? When we need the constant gratification, and I think with the online world it became even more profound, it stops us from pursuing excellence. I was most proud of things looking back when I didn't believe I could achieve them, and then I did. For me, not for somebody else, but I was actually proud when I overcame things that I believed were not possible for me. And those are the most valuable lessons for me. I really stopped giving importance to other people's opinions. Of course, we all have kind of like, I don't know if I should post this and what would people think, but it's much less important to me than it ever was. And maybe that came with age too, but it's absolutely number one for me. Stop doing things to impress others. Second, make decision and stand by its consequences. Even when it's stupid decision, at least you make one. Because the worst part, the major reason why we are stuck somewhere when we enter the analysis paralysis state and we overthink things and we start thinking about what may happen and what likely will never happen, but we are worrying about what may happen and never take an action. So in my own life, I have done quite a bit of stupid decisions, but I made them. I lived by the consequences of it. And I was proud enough not to go back and give someone the satisfaction of telling me, I told you so. So I lived by the consequences and I overcame whatever came out of it. And I was proud that I'm actually decisive and make decisions. Because the worst people that I have worked with are the ones that, I don't know, and maybe yes or no is totally fine. No is fine. Just make decision. It's the worst paralysis you can give yourself, and it's painful stage when you can make up your mind. What helped me is to equip myself with facts and information and kind of look at it very logically. Okay, what is on the table? What are the consequences? What happen if I say yes? What happen if I say no? And based on that, I make decision and then I stand by it. I think that's the very important thing if you want to be leading others, if you want to be helping others, to be able to make decisions for yourself. Number 3, going for jobs or opportunities I was never ready for. Repeatedly. Yes, I have done this repeatedly. And I have to explain a little bit here because I came from Europe. And Europe, or I don't know if I can say generally Europe, but definitely the post-communist countries, we were not raised on being proud of ourselves. We were not raised on bragging about our success or abilities, or somebody offer you a job and you were like, I don't know, well, maybe I'll try. That's not convincing to anybody, but that was normal for me my first several years of my life. So when I came to America, I had to change that. I had to change my mindset and understand that if I want to get a job, I have to actually sell myself, sell my capabilities, my talents, and assure that person that I'm worth giving a chance. And it was against my nature, but I learned, and I did enter quite a few industries that I was completely not qualified of. But I trust in one thing: I can learn. And if I loved the job and if I had the right feeling about the company, I immersed myself into it, and I did the best job possible to really, really become knowledgeable about it, because I couldn't do anything half-ass. I have to do everything with either do it right or don't do it at all. And that was kind of my personal philosophy, and maybe it can help somebody who is thinking about taking a job that they feel they are not qualified for. You can learn anything if you really want to. And if you feel that's the right challenge for you, please do it. You will figure it out. You don't have to know everything up front. I have been competing in industries that were none of my business to enter, with some of the smartest people in that industry, and still came out on the top, because your personality is what makes a difference. Some people can be super knowledgeable, but if you don't connect with them on personal level, their customers may not like them. And that was the case for me. So that's where I went. And then the knowledge came as well. And suddenly I was a fierce to reckon with. Number 4 would be learning to take a lesson from anything bad. That took time for sure, because that's the hardest while you're in it, but it always works out. And it may sound like cliche, and I know, because I have been down quite a few times, and you are feeling like the whole world is pulling on you, and there's nobody that goes through what you go through. I have felt multiple times in my life that, oh my God, there is no way out from this. And there always is. There's something in us that eventually when we take a step towards getting out of it, things starts moving into your favor. Things start, when you try, it's like universe conspire to help you get the right people in front of you, open the right door. There's much more to it, but it was always beneficial for me to stop beating myself up, but look back at my mistakes so I don't repeat them. And I think it's really hard. That's not easy thing to do. But when you do, it's very liberating. I will encourage you to do that. Number 5 was treating everyone the same. You can make someone's day or gain respect of someone powerful. This one was big because I have seen people treating others with disrespect. I have seen people being all impressed with some celebrities or VIPs that they became completely clownish. And I don't know where I got this from, but I was always, this was like natural to me. If there was a cleaning lady that were trying to be invisible, I would make sure to say hi to her and ask her how her day was, or apologize that I'm walking on her wet floors, whatever it takes, because it's the humility that we are the same. We really are the same. Nobody's so special that are above other people. And I have seen it many times that even somebody who really had very bad attitude towards me and was trying to kind of mess my day, when I didn't let them and I was treating them back with respect, which must have been annoying for them, eventually it got to a point that they start changing towards me. They stop seeing our engagement as battle. And so you can positively influence others that are doing you wrong. And I'm not saying that every bully has to be treated with respect, but it's more serious in like business or life situations when it's somebody you care about, and not letting them live rent-free in your head for things that it's their problem, not yours. So that would be something that really helped me overcome a lot of difficult situations in my life. 6, stand for myself, firmly, politely, but non-apologetically. I had this pleasing kind of nature. That's what I was raised on. And eventually I got to a point when I realized I don't need to explain myself to anybody. I don't owe an explanation to anybody. If I decide about something, I can politely say yes or no, and I don't have to go into a long explanation why I arrived in that conclusion. Somebody very smart who I admired a lot in the show business in Czech Republic. I was sitting with him in a press conference, and you know how it goes. The questions are running at you, and somebody was asking, which was kind of an insulting, because it was a famous singer who escaped communism, immigrated to United States, and it was a brave thing to do because he lost everything. I don't know if you know any history of what would become when you ask political asylum from communist country. You basically committed crime, you will lose all your properties, your family will be in trouble. If you come back, you will be in jail. It was not easy decision to make, and he was on top of his game. He was not free to express himself the way he wanted, and he felt that he would rather be here so his son can grow in freedom than being controlled by a bunch of bureaucrats telling him what he is allowed or not allowed to say from the stage. And it was a decision that he didn't come to lightly. And many people understood. But there were some that were like, well, what was he missing here? He was doing well. I don't understand. Why would you do that? And at this particular press conference, some really young person, not very wise, asked him, why did you immigrate? And this singer, who was really like number one, number two singer in the Czech show business, looked back and gave me a fantastic lesson in his answer. He said, those that understand would never question it, and those that question it will never understand. He didn't bother to answer that question because he knew this person was asking with the intention to challenge it, and he didn't want to hear the answer. He wouldn't understand. And so it just gives you the feeling, if we are equal, you don't owe anybody explanation. Don't let anybody guilt you into doing something that you don't want to do. Just take action that is right for you when the other advice may seem wrong to you. Number 7 was asking the wrong people for advice or listen to the unsolicited one, especially when it comes to business advice, when they have never done it. It's like asking single guy for breastfeeding advice. You know, it's if you're asking around your friends and family, and it's like people that have never done what you want to do, what do you expect they will tell you? They will warn you. They will warn you. And it's kind of showing their own insecurities, because if you succeed, it will point at them that they had the same possibility, but they never took it. They didn't have the courage to pursue it. I did that multiple times. I used to ask people, what do you think about this picture and that picture? What do you think about my logo? You know the best. You know who you are. You know what you want to do if it comes to the business. You know who your people are that you want to serve. And you should know what resonates with them. Because if you are familiar with the group of people that you would like to serve, it's part of your marketing and your job to know what they respond to. So asking random people on internet if they like this colors or that color, it's not relevant because they are not your audience. And it took me a long time, and I'm very fine with my decisions. And if somebody challenged them, I know deep inside they don't know anything about my reasons why things are the way they are, and I respect their opinion and move on. Very easy. Saves you a lot of aggravation. Number 8, pay attention to my inner monologue. And if you do anything in personal development, I'm sure you are very familiar with this. It is very hard because we would never say to our friends what we say to ourselves. If you can't finish the sentence with, and that's the way I like it, you will realize what you're telling yourselves are stories and excuses that you don't want to listen to. If you say, I just can't lose weight, and that's the way I like it, it changes the dynamic of it, doesn't it? Or, oh my gosh, I can never learn this, I'm so dumb, and that's the way I like it. Try it one time. Try it for one day. Whatever you tell yourself, try to add, and that's the way I like it. It will teach you to stop and think about it. It turns my inner monologue upside down. It helps you to be aware and stop yourself from, because as you know, what we say is what comes out of us in form of energy, and what we say, it's also how other people perceive us, and we believe it, and our body believe it, and that's as much action we take as to how far we believe we can go. So that was a big changer for me. Number 9 is pay attention what I consume. And that's not just about food. If you know me for a while, you know that I'm obsessed about healthy, clean eating. It used to be my business. I was a holistic personal chef. I was doing all kind of specialty diets. And I have a huge love for food. I enjoy cooking it. I enjoy creating it from scratch because I control everything that goes in it. And I know the value of excellent food that can do for your health and for your conditions and for your immune system. But this is not only about food. This is control. Pay attention to what you consume. Otherwise, if you want to keep your inner peace, stop watching news. Stop scrolling first thing in the morning, getting lost in social media mindlessly, and then feeling guilty that you got nothing done, especially if you work from home. I have been working from home for quite a few years. And of course, I'm guilty of it too. You go with intention to do something and then something catches your attention. And an hour later, you realize, oh my gosh, I'm watching cat videos, which is crazy. But yeah, hey, happens sometimes. I just don't want to get to point when I have end of the day and I'm looking back, feeling guilty that nothing that I planned was done. So I'm conscious about it. I don't pick up my phone first thing in the morning. I go and start writing things that I want to do that day. And I pay attention to them before I even open my email. Brendon Bouchard once smartly says, and it's stuck in my head, when you open your email, that's full of other people's agenda. So unless you prioritize your work, you will be constantly catching up and putting out fires for somebody else instead of paying attention to what needs to be done to move your business forward. And I'm applying it to business, but I think it applies to life in general too, because if you are there for everybody else, you hardly have time to really do what is important for you. And number 10, pay attention who I surround myself with. And again, if you are in the world of personal development, you also possibly develop aversion to people who refuse to change anything and who would rather just keep complaining for years and years about why it is not possible for them, about why, yeah, it may be for you, but I can't do it. And there is no intention to change anything about it. It became their identity. It became their excuse, not only excuse, but it became their habit. This is how they are comfortable. And at certain point, when I went through my painful work to really realize what I'm doing to myself, I realized I lost patience with this because it reminded me too much of the old version of myself. It reminded me who I used to be and how it must have seen to other people who were further away than I was at that time. So I realized I have to surround myself with people that are as positive as I want to be, who are successful as I want to be, who are challenging me, who are not just saying yes and admiring whatever and being friend, and also who are not going to influence me with bad habits. Because when you surround yourself with very successful people, and especially in the field that you want to succeed, it inevitably rubs on you. You start comparing yourself. This is what I should be doing. This is what it takes. It is, and you see it is possible. It's some idea, some dream, but it's positive influence. It pulls you up. The whole energy pulls you up to where you want to be. And that I'm sure there's more lessons than I can think of, but these 10 I put together because I wanted to remind myself what got me where I am, and I hope that it could help somebody else as well. So let me quickly recap. Number 1 was stop doing things to impress others. Number 2, making decision and stand by its consequences. Going for jobs, opportunities, even if I was not ready. Number 4, learning to take a lesson from anything bad. It takes time. 5, treating everyone the same respect. 6, standing for myself firmly, politely, but non-apologetically. 7, asking the wrong people advice. 8, pay attention to my inner monologue. 9, pay attention to what I consume. And 10, pay attention who I surround myself with. I think if you change just one thing on these 10 things, you will make a huge progress in pursuing your dream or pursuing your career or pursuing better quality of life. What comes to mind is Mel Robbins, who just published a book called Let Them. And it's a fabulous, fabulous lesson on pulling yourself up despite what anybody else thinks. And I think that's what holds most people up and makes them compromise and makes them kind of stay where they are because the uncertainty is too scary. And it never is. When you surround yourself with right people, you change the environment, suddenly the things and your perspective of it changes too. And you start pursuing things that you never thought possible for you. I know it because I have done it. Trust me, it works. It works like a clock. And so thank you so much for listening. If you stayed this far, there is one more part of this podcast that I would love to share with you. I was going back to one of my favorite conversations I had with incredible man. His name is Alan Noble, and his company is called Noble Purpose. Incredible human being. And I was really grateful that he gave me so much time and so much of his wisdom. And he was so generous with even tips on what he learned and what he found out the most challenging and what the secret to his success is. And speaking of success, he is a multi-millionaire. You would never tell if you met him because he doesn't show off. He's not acting arrogantly ever. Probably just the opposite. And it was just incredible lesson for me to just be able to listen to him and to share what the most important lessons for him was on his own journey to get where he is. And what's the single most important thing? He said, once I figured out, life was no longer challenging. So I hope you will get inspired with this amazing exchange with Alan Noble.
If people don't want to know, that's okay. That just tells me more about them and their commitment to their own health.
Yeah.
Because people that are committed to their health, and the people I look for are people who believe their health is their greatest wealth and it's their responsibility to invest into it. That living in a healthy body is a priority in life. And Vera, you would say, well, that's everybody, isn't it? I go, no,
they're not.
It's not everybody. I was once talking to a lady, had fibromyalgia. And this was way back. I was still in Ireland at the time. And I remember she had fibromyalgia and I had a nutritional product that I was interested in her trying. And I walked into her kitchen and there's a 2 liter bottle of Coca-Cola. And I go, do you drink much of that stuff? And she goes, oh, I drink 2 liters a day.
Yeah.
I go, you got to be kidding me. I said, in your condition, you're putting that acidic junk into your system, 2 liters a day. Oh yeah, I couldn't live without my Coke. Mm. And I walked away. I was done. That was it. The conversation was finished because I'm not here to change her philosophies. I'm not here to change her eye color.
Yeah.
I'm going to let somebody else waste their time on that. I'm here looking for the people that already get it, that already understand the value of investing into our health with amazing technologies that exist today. And then I'm going to present the most amazing technology of all, which is this signaling technology that, by the way, has 7 patents and over 1,000 trade secrets.
Yeah.
You can't get it anywhere else. And so when you put it in front of the right people, they get it. Sorry, you got me on one of my soapboxes there, Vera.
No, absolutely fantastic.
So I have a saying, Vera, and this is a little bit of a training for people maybe listening to this. It's okay if people don't buy my story. I'm not here to change people's eye color. I've said that 3 times now. I'm saying it, I'm repeating it on purpose. You have to repeat things for it to drive home. It's okay if people don't buy my story, but I'm not buying their story. I know what I know. And one of the secrets to my success is I don't waste a lot of time with people who are not in sync with me.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not here to, if somebody, for example, believes if I'm connecting with somebody and I say, look, I've got this astonishing health technology that I believe the world deserves to know about. What you do with it's up to you. I'm emotionally detached from the outcome. Truly emotionally detached from the outcome. I don't care. Okay. I call it compassionate indifference. I'm not here to convince or sell anybody. I'm looking for people who are looking for me. So if somebody says to me, oh, well, I need to go talk to my doctor about that. So if they buy into the philosophy that their doctor has all of the answers when it comes to their health, they're not my audience.
Yeah.
And I don't have the energy or the time. I have other things I want to do. I want to go travel the world. I want to play my flute. I want to spend time with my kids and my wife and my dog. I don't want to waste my time trying to change their philosophy. I'm going to let somebody else do that because I know there's millions of people that already have my philosophy, which is my health is my greatest wealth, and it's my responsibility to invest into it. And doctors don't have all the answers. Hey, when it comes to crisis care and the emergency room, amazing. It's miraculous what they can do in there. And I have so much respect for the emergency room doctor, the brain surgeons, the heart surgeons. The crisis care is astonishing, and I tip my hat to them. But when it comes to understanding actually how the body works and prevention and maintenance of health, they don't have a clue. They're not taught that.
Yeah.
So I don't waste my time talking to somebody who's literally speaking a different language to me when it comes to health. I'm looking for somebody that's on the same page as me. Then it's a very small step to introduce a cutting edge health technology. It's only a tiny little step. But if I have to take them from here, where they live and breathe by the pharmaceutical companies and their doctor, and I got to take them to here, that's too big a step. I'm too lazy for that.
But
I don't have time for that.
did you know this from beginning when you first started sharing it with people? Or
no, I had to learn it like everybody else. I never had a mentor in this business. I had to learn through the school of hard knocks. I had nobody to teach me this wisdom. I had to figure it out myself, which is why I'm really good at teaching it, because I had to figure it out myself. Sometimes if you just handed it to you on a plate, you'd never know the true depth of it. But I remember I had to go through a phase to realize, do I want to be right or do I want to be rich? And for the longest time, I didn't. I heard that phrase once at a seminar. Do you want to be right or do you want to be rich? And I didn't understand it, Vera, because I thought really what it meant was, I felt it was like a moral ethics question.
Yeah.
Like it's okay not to do the right thing, just focus on being rich. And I had a problem with it. And it wasn't until many years later that finally the penny dropped and I understood it. Let's say I'm talking to you, Vera, is my job to convince you that I'm right?
No.
Or is it, again, to move on and find the next person that actually wants what I have? So I define prospecting as sifting and sorting, looking for people who want what you have. It's not convincing and selling people that they need what you have. And a lot of people come into a business like this and they think their job is to convince and sell, which is why
Unfortunately,
the
I think
industry gets
most
a
of
bad
us,
reputation.
yeah, I think it's most of us that believe that, how could you not see what I see?
Yeah, but you've got to become emotionally detached. You
Yeah.
become compassionately indifferent.
Yeah.
You've got to learn compassionate indifference. So I give the example of the flight attendant walking down the aisle of the plane.
Right.
Hey, do you want peanuts? Do you want pretzels? Do you want a soft drink? Do you want tea, coffee? They don't care whether you say yes or no. Have you ever seen a flight attendant go, what? You don't want a cup of coffee with these specially roasted peanuts? Are you crazy?
Yeah.
Oh, have you ever had a flight attendant do that to you? No. Their job, they have one job, and that is to ask every single person on that plane, do you want peanuts? Do you want pretzels? Do you want tea, coffee? Do you want a soft drink? They don't give a rip whether you say yes or no. And I adopt that same approach, and it's been a secret to my success. Because guess what? The right people will raise their hand and say, yeah, I'd like a cup of coffee and I'd like some pretzels, please. I don't know why people eat pretzels, the most disgusting food ever made. But what but that's a side note. But and that's the mistake that people make. They get so emotionally caught up. And you can't, because then you're trying to be right. This is all about ego. It's all ego driven. Okay. People's egos, they have to be, oh, well, I'm right. So I'm going to sit on you, try and convince you, and try and hatch you like a mother hen sitting on an egg. And I'm going to annoy you and I'm going to pester you because I'm right and you're not. That's how amateurs play. But they're broke. Amateurs don't become wealthy. Amateurs go broke with their hobbies. And what you have to learn is to become emotionally detached from outcomes, where I'm totally disconnected from the outcome. I don't care. I know when I put this technology in front of the right person, they will get it. I know that for a fact. I've done it for 15 years. And I know when I put this technology in front of the wrong person, they won't get it. And that's okay. I've made my peace with that because I don't have to be right.
It's brilliant because you touched on this is really personal development kind of business.
It's all personal development. This entire business, our business is so simple. My 12-year-old could do it. The only thing would stop her is she emotionally mature enough to succeed? And actually, she might be.
What did you learn about yourself in this process when you look back?
What I've just taught you, becoming emotionally detached from the outcome. That is the single most important thing that I learned in my journey. Once I figured that out, the life, it's no longer a challenge anymore, because it's not my responsibility to change people's philosophies. You see, we have to understand people make decisions and say yes or no based on philosophies, how they view the world. Okay. And let me give you an example. You know, you could be sitting there with your thumb in front of your eye, and at nighttime you look up to the moon and you say to me, Alan, my thumb is bigger than the moon. Now that's your philosophy. That's your perspective. That is how you see the moon. Your thumb is bigger than the moon. Now, I'm not going to waste a lot of time convincing you otherwise. Okay. But I could ask you a question to try and shift your perspective. And a question, because what a question does is a question makes you think. Now, most people don't understand the power of questions. This is another thing I learned, the power of questions. Questions make people think. The truth is, about half the population don't think. I don't mean to sound cruel. I really don't. I'm just sharing with you my life's experience. Half the population doesn't know how to think. They don't know how to think for themselves. I mean, we're becoming a
much higher percentage than that.
Well, I was being kind, but most people are turning into vegetables. They're sitting there with their head in their phone. They're watching TikTok reels. They're watching, you know, whatever it is, just the junk on social media. They veg out, binge watch Netflix shows. And look, we're all guilty of that. We find a show we like, and, you know, a thriller, a detective series, a mystery or something. You know, once in a while is fine, but it's become a lifestyle for people.
And people go on automatic pilot with a lot of things in a life.
They've forgotten how to think. You know, Vertus Norton, when Tyler Norton, his son, brilliant person. I've learned so much from Tyler. We could fill a whole other call on what I've learned from Tyler. But Tyler was just beginning his professional career, and he met his brilliant father, Vertus Norton, and he says, okay, Dad, what's your advice for me? And they were sitting having a dinner, and he says, what's your advice? I'm going out into the big bad world. Share your fatherly wisdom with me. And Vertus Norton turned to his son. He says, think. That was it. Think. Most people don't think. They're on this automatic pilot.